This is the stats for September. That's what you're here to find out, so we may as well just dive straight in and see how the market's doing. Well, it's not that often we sit here in October and the weather is kind of as glorious as this, so hey, let's do this thing outside. We wanted to give you all the information so that if you're moving here, if you're thinking of buying, thinking of selling, really whatever you're thinking of doing in real estate, this is the month that we are actually going to give you the stats, get it out nice and early, because there's been some pretty interesting changes and we've got a couple of interesting digging around for the right numbers. But let's get straight into it. We want to know, how much was the average price here in Halifax? What did we actually sell for in September? Well, $577,800 was the actual sale price. Now that's more or less the same as the actual list price. So 99.9% is where we ended up. So really similar. Now that's just the list price that it actually went sold / conditional at. So I went and had a little look to say, okay, what's the average price reduction that people are having to do? So there's kind of two list prices. The first list price is the original list price. When it first hit the market, what was the number? Compared to the second list price is what price reductions did you have to do before you managed to get an accepted offer on the property? Well, that reduction was $25,000 on average to get from your original list price to then the second list price, which is when did I actually get an accepted offer. So that gives you a feeling for almost, we've never really looked at that stat, but it gives you a feeling for okay, well, if I'm going to put the house on the market for $600,000, am I expecting to get within the first week or so a $600,000 offer, or is it basically going to have to take a couple of price reductions, one, maybe two, to get to 25,000, and then we actually get the accepted offer? Well, yes, that's what it's going to take. Roughly $25,000 is the average price reduction that original listings are taking to get to a sale. So we've not looked at that before, because it's all well and good saying it's 99.9% sale to list price. Great, list my house at 600, accept 600. Not exactly the case. So that's a key thing to look out for. And what that means for sellers is just get ready. If it doesn't work for you in the first 7 to 10 days, just get ready for that conversation, or even be proactive with the conversation of, do you know what? We've obviously not attracting the right buyer that's looking at our house as a fair market value to then write us an offer. So just get ready for that conversation. That's what it means for sellers. For buyers, really, this means you need to just work out what's the right number with your realtor and put your offer in. So those are the two things, what that means. Now let's have a look at the number of days on market. That went up again. So last month 31, this month 33, last year 25. So we're up over a week on last year, which is definitely showing that slowing down of our market. Not such a, last year, I'd say July, June last year, not such a crazy hot market as it was then. Now let's look at the number of houses sold. So we are at 320 houses that we sold in the month of September. We had active 792. So what that means for us is months of inventory went up to 2.5. Now that was 1.8 last month, but last year it was 2.3. So more or less the same. So it shows that we're going back into that typical Halifax market where we have a spring bump, we kind of slow down a little bit in the summer, and then we have a fall bump. And that really is what's showing up in terms of the number of months of inventory. Number of sales, we were down 13% on last month. We were up 11% on last year. So when you kind of look at all of these numbers together, it does show that we are slowing down compared to how the previous 2-3 years have been, when they've just been so active and such a furious pace and over asking price and all of those other things. So that's really what we're seeing in the market for September, is everything has slowed down a little bit. Now, when we look at 792 new listings, so active for sale at the end of the month, 792, that's up 19% on last month, and it's up 20% on last year. So last year, up 132 more houses for sale and 124 on last month. So again, it just shows that things are definitely slowing down. We've never had nearly 800 houses for sale in about 3 years. So we are increasing in terms of the amount of houses that are staying on the market. hence the fact that we're starting to see the price reductions to get the offers. You can see how the story's kind of all stacking up together. Now, one of the other things that we wanted to look at, of course, is the sales to new listing ratios. So we know we sold 320. We put new houses on the market for 495. That gives us a 65% sale to new listing ratio. Also shows us, therefore, that we are building inventory and we are leaving more houses on the market. They are taking longer to sell, 33 days on market. But the good news is, you're going to have to potentially do some price reductions. If you get your price right from the start, you won't necessarily have to do price reductions. But we are more or less selling sale to list price. It's not that much over asking price. Yes, there's exceptions. There's always exceptions for houses, especially in Dartmouth. Like, I can't remember, and I think it was one of the other realtor friends I've got that was telling me about a house that went $300,000 over asking price, which is ridiculous. There's just no way it should be selling that much over asking price, that's for sure. Especially in this market. Like, I don't know why you would have listed a house that would have attracted an offer to get $300,000 over asking price. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's buyers and sellers and realtors, so they make their decisions on what they do. So we're at 65%. That shows that we're adding the inventory. Last month, that was 86%. Last year, that was 69%. So you can see that September 23 has got quite a lot of similarities to September 22. And that's really when we started slowing down last year. We definitely increased the speed again at the start of this year, but you can see that it's slowing down a bit. Now let's go into some top markets. So number one was Timberley, Prospect, St. Margaret's Bay, Upper Tantallon area. Their average price there was $560,000, 553 listed. So again, slightly over asking price by 1.3%. 30 days on market, 35 houses were actually sold. So that was really over 10% of our sales in the month happened in that particular area. 92 houses for sale, so they're at 2.6 months of inventory. So they've definitely crept up. Then we go into number two, that was East Hants, Colchester, Elmsdale, Enfield, Lance, that area again. These top three are not really changing from month to month. $465,000 average sale price, $465,000 average list price. 60 days on market there for the houses that sold though, so that's like going up big time. 29 houses sold, 113 for sale, so that gives them nearly 4 months of inventory. So I think some of that is going to be the new construction that's going on up there, because yeah, they can definitely stay on the market for a good half a year before the builder actually then says, okay, I'm more or less complete and somebody can move in. So if you're in that area, things are definitely taking a little longer to sell, but you've got to kind of know the market up there and go, okay, well, if we strip out all the brand new stuff, does that make a little bit more sense? Probably. Now let's look at number three. We are in Sackville. So Sackville was $487,000 sale price, $463,000 list price. So 5.1% over asking price in that market. 14 days on market, 2 weeks, still pretty quick. 27 houses sold, 21 available, 0.8 months. So again, we go back to those hot markets, and we know Lower Sackville has always been a very hot market because of the price point, but we're also seeing a lot of houses that people have lived in for 20 years and they've done some really nice renovations and updating. So those houses now are actually selling because people are looking at them and going, okay, for that much money in Lower Sackville, close to everything you could ever want, that's the area for me. We're moving in there, especially first, maybe second time home buyers. So that's really what's going on in the market there in Lower Sackville. And I think when you kind of look at everything, to sum the whole month up, it's been very similar to September last year. But again, we know that if you group all of the Dartmouth areas together, just having a quick look at some of these numbers and doing some very quick math, yeah, they're at 0.9 months of inventory. Price points there are all over the place, just depends where you look for. But certainly those are the areas that we've seen, that are actually going over asking price. If you look at Creighton Park, $33,000 over asking price on average. Forest Hills, $31,000 over asking price. Woodlawn Portland Estates, $22,000 over asking price. Southdale Manor Park, $18,000 over asking price. Eastern Passage, Dartmouth Woodside, $16,000 over asking price. So again, when you start seeing some of these kind of key areas, really it's Lower Sackville and it's Dartmouth. Again, combine all of Dartmouth together, lots of areas within there, but combine them all together. Those are our two hottest markets that people are playing in at the moment. Yes, there's other properties like, just having a quick look here. Halifax South, yeah, $1.4 million average price, but there was a house there that was $2.6 million that sold. Bedford is an interesting one. That's down at $654,000 average price. So not so many of those ones that are in the 850 and above, kind of like the new stuff in Brookline, Parks of Bedford West. Not so much of those are actually selling right now because the average price point is 654,000. So it's the lower priced houses in Bedford that are selling, not necessarily the higher priced ones. So something to think about if you're getting into Parks of Bedford West as well. But those are all the details. If you have any questions, hit the comments down below, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will do our best to answer all of your comments and just basically keep you informed of what's going on in the Halifax market. And check out all the other videos we've got here as well. There's tons of information here. So be educated and give us a call if you need us.